They want to shake your hand.
I want a hug. I want a hug. That was fantastic.
Man, I gotta say.
Hi, this is Hart with another edition of Breakdancing for Seniors. I'm age 65. I started breaking at age 54. If I can do this, you can do it. Now I'm going to show you today how to train to do a windmill. Now let me show you what a windmill is. Now my windmill is not very good. I'm supposed to be up higher on my shoulders, so I'm more like going around my head. But at age 65, I don't have the flexibility. Plus I didn't start doing windmills until my late 50s, since I started breaking at age 54. So my windmill doesn't look that good. My legs should be straighter. I should be high up on my shoulders. But you get the basic idea. In fact, let me show you what a good windmill should look like. Let's take a look at B-Boy Ivan's windmill. That's what a windmill should look like. But the reason I'm doing this tutorial for seniors and for beginning breakers is I think they teach the windmill wrong. Because the way they taught the windmill to me, I couldn't do it. When you're practicing windmills, you want to get a hat so you don't hurt your head. The way most of the instructors teach the windmill is they teach you to get into this stab position right here and then kind of hurl yourself off the stab like that.
And here's me trying to figure out windmills.
So, under again. Okay. Okay, now turn over. Stab, and turn, go down your back. There you go. Yeah.
I could not learn windmills that way. Because, in my opinion, the secret, at least for me, for getting a windmill, was to get high up on my head. I try to get almost all the way to my head when I'm doing my windmill because I use my head as the pivot point, not my hand so much. So I get it almost to a headstand when I'm doing a windmill. The way I learned a windmill was to practice getting to my head from my back. So what you want to do is practice. You want to do a lot of stretching before you start doing the windmill. So the main thing is to learn how to get to your head from your back. And no one taught me this, by the way. Everyone taught me that you have to start the windmill from this position. I think that's very difficult. And I couldn't do it. I could not learn a windmill that way. So I learned the windmill by just practicing getting from my back to my head. Once you're in the headstand, basically, practice that. And then that becomes a windmill. Once you get your headstand mastered, then you just do this. You collapse, you go, and then you're on your back. You're also spinning, so then you have momentum that carries you back up on your head again. So let's just do that one more time. Get to my head. And this is a lot of work, by the way. All right. Head. Then. Okay, so we can do the head, then collapse. You want to collapse your elbow this way so that you go back on your back. And you're spinning at the same time, so you've got momentum to bring you back up to the head. And actually, it's a good idea to get an elbow pad for this. You can get them at Dick's Sporting Goods so you don't skin your elbow. All right, so now what I'm gonna do is I'm gonna just get to my head, collapse my elbow. So get to my head, and when I'm here, I'll collapse like that. You wanna keep your elbow in like this and collapse, okay? And the farther you stay on your shoulder, the better. You want to keep your legs as wide as possible. The wider you keep your legs, the easier it is. The object here is not perfection, it's to keep moving. Okay, so far we've just learned get straight back to your head and then kind of collapse into a windmill. But the problem with that, of course, is you don't have any momentum. You don't have much momentum that way. So now you want to develop momentum. You want your windmill, whether you're going left or right, you want it to be going in a circle, and you create that with your legs. So I windmill this direction. So I want to kick as hard as I can with this leg, kind of at a 45-degree angle, so I can get momentum like that. That's how you. So the more momentum you have with the windmill, the easier it is. So we're gonna. So it's gonna be essentially a 45-degree angle. Boom. And you want your windmill to treat your head like a speed bump in the middle of your windmill. You want to go right through your head. You want to go point to point, shoulder point to shoulder point. Windmill goes through your head. Your head is a speed bump. Sounds extreme, I know, but that's how I learned it. Because you have to get height, especially when you're learning the windmill, because you're not going very fast. So you'll be going slower. So the slower you go, the more height you need to get your body under and around the windmill. Otherwise, you're going to crash on the floor. All right? So let's see how that works. So that's to the head. Now pretend I have momentum. I'm going. And very critical is to always be driving your legs back. You want to be going back. You really want to be staying in this position. Drive your legs back. That's actually a pretty good drill right there. You put your hands behind your head, and you do little scissor kicks with your legs. That will help train you to go back. Everything's back there. So drive your legs back. Pretty much the whole time. Now, of course, I don't do that very well. What I tend to do, mistakenly, is at my windmill, I have a tendency to let my hips drop to the floor. I should not do that. I should keep them up here. I'm continuing to try to train myself to do that. The wider and straighter you can spread your legs, the easier the windmill will be. Makes you more balanced. It's just easier. So practice your splits to try to increase flexibility. The wider you can spread your legs, the easier the windmill. And the straighter your legs, the easier the windmill. Now, I don't keep my legs straight because A, it's difficult, but also, if you keep your legs very straight, it does put a lot of torque on your hips. For senior citizens, if you get going fast with a windmill with straight legs, you're going to pick up a lot of momentum, a lot of centrifugal force, and you can actually dislocate a hip that way because the centrifugal force will pull your hip out. So I do tend to keep my legs slightly bent. It doesn't make the windmill look as good, but it's good for safety reasons. Now, also with the windmill, you generate your power from your hips, not from your legs. You get all the power in braking and in dancing and in most sports comes from your core, comes from your hips. Your hips are the heaviest part of your body, so that's your center of gravity. So your power comes from your hips. So that's really what you swing with. Now, even though I said it was much easier for me to learn how to do the windmill by first learning how to roll back to a headstand and then starting the windmill from there, it was much easier to do that than to start from this position, which is how most breakdancing instructors teach. Try it both ways and see what's easier for you. But it was much easier for me to roll back to my head, start the windmill from there. However, learning turtles and freezes is extremely important to your windmills, and it's extremely important to many other breaking moves. So this is a turtle. You're going to want to learn how to do this. That's a turtle. Now this is a freeze. You want to practice this both on both ways. This. This. That will help you with your windmill because even when you're in your head, you're still coming down into this position. Now, the good breakers don't even need their hands anymore. They're just purely using their head as the pivot point, and they're going so fast, they're creating enough centrifugal force that they can stay, almost a few inches off the ground without ever touching their hands to the ground. They're going so fast around their head. Obviously, I cannot do that. That requires a lot of speed. Now, a couple of more tips. When you get up on your head and you get ready to go into your windmill, you want to plant your chin pretty much on your chest. Not so much straight, but certainly not back. So you want to have your chin down here. And also, you want to tuck your shoulder. Tuck your chin and your shoulder. And that'll help keep you on your shoulders instead of falling back to your hip. And also, you really want to practice your headstands. You do want to build up your neck strength. So practice your headstands. Different angles. Different angles. No hands. You want to build up your neck. Think of your head as like a fifth limb. A lot of power moves are done off the head, and the head is the pivot point. So you want to have a strong neck. I should add that my neck has also really increased flexibility. When I started breaking when I was 54, I couldn't even turn my neck because of the arthritis. Now it's not as good as when I was 20, but it's not bad. It's a lot better than it was. So it actually really helped my neck flexibility as well as strength. I had to increase my shirt collar size. Remember when I said it's easier to develop momentum from up here than it is from down on the floor, from a standing position or from your head? And that's why I like to enter most of my windmills from the standing position. And the move that I use most commonly is called the coin drop. It's actually not a full coin drop, it's kind of a half coin drop. I use my hand. The good breakers don't use any hands for the coin drop, or a lot of them don't. Let me just show you how that is. And this is really beyond the scope of this video, but let me just show you that move. Boom, boom, boom. And that starts my momentum for the windmill. And it's a lot easier than starting from the floor. But here's another way. Sometimes I'll start the windmill this way. I'll do a slide, which kind of helps momentum. Boom, boom, boom. Now the windmill is pretty difficult. It's an intermediate level move. It took me probably a year just to get, pretty okay at it. I bet it took me about a year. But really, my windmill is not that good even right now, but it's serviceable. All right, let's see how this looks at age 65. Well, that's it for windmills. Hope it helped. If you like this video, give me a like, subscribe to my channel. That will help with the algorithms. And hope to see you back here for the next edition of Beginner Breakdancing for Senior Citizens. If I can do it, you can do it.